Let me say good morning to those of you listening to Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9 on the FM dial. Those of you viewing us this morning via GBN TV, Channel 7, Channel 11, Channel 20. Good morning. Welcome. What about those of you via our social media platforms, Facebook page, YouTube channels? Good morning. Those of you via GBN's webpage, good morning to you also, and welcome to this edition of To The Point. I'm your host, the GT. It's Tuesday, the 9th day of April. Yes, 9 days already within the month. Time is on the move. Let's go over and say good morning to my guest this morning. And you know, on Tuesdays, we do have someone representing the opposition here on the program. And this morning, we have no other than Senator Norland Cox with us this morning. Mr. Cox, good morning and welcome. How are you doing this morning, sir?
Pleasant morning, GT. Pleasant morning to your listeners, viewers, supporters, fans. It's a pleasure to be back on GBN To The Point.
All right. Still not too happy with the sound of your audio, but I hope that's why as we move through, we probably get some improvement. So how are you this morning once again?
I'm doing good.
Okay.
We're fine. Happy to hear you on the other end of the line.
All right.
So looking forward to engaging to discuss current issues and seeing how we go from here.
All right. Tell me, how was the Sister Isle of Carriacou? How was things over there in Carriacou?
Well, first of all, I think it's most people to start with whether it's been pretty hot. We having a very tough dry season, but it's something that we have been accustomed to, so we're putting up most of we can. But it's been pretty tough, pretty hot, pretty dry.
All right.
Pretty dusty.
Senator Cox, for some reason or the other, I'm not sure what's happening this morning. I usually don't have that problem on your end, but we're having a really pretty poor audio quality coming from you this morning. I'm not sure the reason why. Everything seems to be okay on my end for some reason, but pretty low audio quality from your end. Let's see if we could have that rectified for a minute. And folks, give us a minute. Let's just have this rectified and we'll be right back. I'm sure the listeners, viewers would love to hear what you're saying properly. So let's have that rectified and we'll be right back, folks. Stay with us here on Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9 on the FM dial.
Saturday, May 4th, there will be a shift on the island as the biggest grilling fest in Grenada moves to the big parish. The Maggie King of the Grill competition is at Progress Park, St. Andrew. Come taste the most sumptuous creations from the grill as top chefs and food enthusiasts showcase their culinary skills. Maggie King of the Grill is a festival like no other with live soca music, fun attractions, and games for the entire family. Then from 6 p.m., get a chance to win up to $5,000 cash and bingo. Interested vendors and grillers should call 456-3454 to register before March 31st. It's the Maggie King of the Grill competition at Progress Park, St. Andrew. Gates open from 12 noon. Bring your appetite and stay tuned to this station for more details.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. It's To The Point here, Classic Radio. Senator Cox, once again, good morning. And of course, we have that issue rectified. So once again, let's get back to my initial question. How was things inside the Sister Isle of Carriacou this morning?
Well, first of all, let me start by saying that Carriacou has been extremely hot, like most of Grenada over the past few weeks. You know, we're in the peak of the dry season. Carriacou is no stranger to that, but it's been pretty tough for a number of persons. You know, you have water challenges, water shortages in some areas for some persons. Fortunately, we do have a desalination plant, which is operated by now, so that is providing some support in that regard. So, all in all, I think despite that, we are doing okay, and also Carriacou is preparing for our annual Marijuana Music Festival, which is carded for the end of this month. So persons are preparing for that. There are village maroons that is taking place. There was one last Friday. So So there are other good things happening despite the challenging weather.
All right. Happy to hear that. Let's kick our conversation off this morning. Of course, youth development inside of Carriacou. Your take on the aspect of youth development. Tell us what you think of if there is any concern of yours in terms of youth development within the Sister Isle of Carriacou that you maybe want to speak of this morning.
Well, I think the best place to start is, first of all, by saying that it seems that the youth, the young persons in Carriacou in particular, have been let down. One of the things that we observe is that there were a number of programs that we would have instituted, a number of important youth programs. Those programs have been discontinued. So there are no programs that have been implemented to replace them. And so young persons feel kind of being left on their own. You have to understand, the challenge is that young persons in their nature, by nature, if we're to help them, if we're to guide them, they must be engaged in some way or the other. And as such, that is not happening currently. It's non-existent. If I could just recall one of our signature programs, which is the Empower program, which is guided towards our young men, guiding our young men in our society. Because, we do have some challenges there. And we can have a long discussion about the challenges with young men in our society and the impact that it's having. And you can just take a look at our prison registry. It's the difference between our young men and women is not close. There's too much of our young men getting engaged with the law. And so those programs are geared towards helping young people find themselves, find out what they want to do with themselves. And so when you remove that, there is nothing for them to do, and there is nothing for them to engage. And sometimes they find themselves in other challenging situations. One of the things that we also observe, there are a number of young persons who are trying. They're actually trying. They're trying with small business initiatives. There are a number of persons who are trying to start their own business. I'm seeing that and paying strong attention to that. However, they've been deceived to some point as regards to the CES grant program. That is a program that this government came and met. And I have to use the word deceive because persons who are misled in a lot of ways. Some of the persons who may not be able to qualify based on the criteria, they were given the assurance that they're going to get the help, and they didn't get it. So they are very disappointed. They are distraught. I would really like to know how impactful the CES grant has been in Carriacou, how much persons have been benefited from it, and I think it is fair to know. But there are a number of persons have been misled, deceived, and they were not given an opportunity to benefit from the grant, even if they were even qualified in some cases. So the CES grant is another discussion that you will definitely hear more at the Parliament because we have some questions to ask about it going forward.
All right.
That is one of the challenges that young persons have not been meaningfully engaged through programs to help them to develop, to grow. Even job opportunities. There are a number of discussions, promises made by providing jobs for young people. I mean, I recall one of the promises of this government was to build a vocational center. I'm sure you must have heard that. A vocational center in every parish. I'm certain most people heard that was repeated over and over. Citing the need for skills development, so much discussion around skills. There is actually nothing happening in that regard. And we are saying, yes, there is a need for skills development and nurturing in our communities, but there is nothing, no efforts, no structure, no system, nothing in place to provide an opportunity for young persons to find a way in that regard. I mean, I have experience in GDI work in construction. I have experience in a number of things. Hands-on experience. So I know what is required to help persons to find their way in various different skills. But I think it is possibly that there's a lack of understanding experience on the part of policy making in Carriacou that is creating a deficiency where persons are just felt left on their own.
All right.
So that is one of the challenges that I'm very, very, I feel aggrieved and concerned about. I myself personally, when I was the parliamentary secretary in the Ministry of Carriacou and Diplomatic Affairs, developed a program, a training program for young persons who are desirous of being engaged in the maritime sector. As you know, Carriacou, Pidimantnik, we sea life is part of our culture. And persons, more than 100 young men and women got an opportunity to get an international certification, which is called an STCW certificate, a safety at sea training. Now, what does that certificate do? It provides an opportunity for such persons to get a job in the maritime sector, because that is one of the first requirements that you must have. You must have a STCW certificate, and you must have your other requirements before you can land on a vessel deck. So I am not seeing any training for young people. I'm not hearing any opportunities. Nothing is actually going on for young people. They are left in the wilderness, to put it in simple words.
Senator Cox, let me also ask you this. In terms of you being the opposition representative in the side of the Sister Isle of Carriacou, what are some of the other major complaints are you hearing from young people from the Sister Isles? Yes, you spoke about the CES program and so forth, and of course maybe a lot of folks are not being engaged in reference to it. What are some of the other major complaints you're hearing, especially from young people within the Sister Isle?
You think we could even go further? The whole issue of sports. Sports is from a critical component in young people's development, and sports tied in with an opportunity for persons to gain meaningful scholarship and an opportunity for tertiary education through sports. That is one of the greatest opportunities that sports affords young people. We just recently had concluded character games. You look at Jamaica and how they are structured. They ensure that sports plays a key role in the development of their people, because why? Once you do have an athletic ability and it can be nurtured and developed, it affords an excellent opportunity for you to get a scholarship, to go to a good university, still continue to run, get a tertiary education, and make something of yourself after your sporting career has sunset. So I say this because I know there are a number of persons who benefited through sports, through scholarship, through sports, and we see no activities. You have actions taken where you have a qualified sports officer who was sent home, was relieved of his duties, and replaced by someone else, and that gentleman, the new sports officer, seemed to be having difficulties getting any structure off the ground. I know that there is talk about this the new sports policy and the sports council and parish councils, but I'm telling you, it is not as simple as just meeting and just having one meeting to put this structure in place. It requires the right people, it requires a proper structure, and it requires commitment from people who knows what they're doing. And I think we are far cry away from that. And that is one of the big issues. There is no opportunities for persons, no sports programs. Everything has crashed. It has crashed. We have so much talented people in Carriacou, be it in cricket, be it in athletics, even in tennis. I know that Mr. Blaze is doing some good work in tennis, and that is his individual initiatives, and not necessarily anything to do with government policy. And so I think that those are some of the things that we've seen and we are very concerned about. Carriacou has a rich history in terms of sporting persons. We have Emmanuel Stewart, who is one of Carriacou's most, if not Carriacou's most outstanding cricketer in the history of cricket, who has gone and achieved the most as a Carriacouan. And so we have examples, and we have persons. We have Jamara Als, who is also overseas as well. There are examples. So hence the reason why it's so important for those programs to continue, so that our young boys and girls can get the opportunity to excel through the athletic ability. And from what we are seeing, it is tanking, it is crashing. And I speak on it now because I think, in fairness to the government and to the ministry in Carriacou, there is a clear opportunity for them to arrest this now and fix it. I will always give support wherever I can. I have always been a sports enthusiast. Cricket is my love. I've always supported sports in every way possible, whatever I can. I've been doing it all my life. I've worked with young men to help them teach them cricket. I've been doing that. I always give support. So I'm not saying this in terms of critiquing, but in saying this in terms of bringing awareness to Carriacouans and to the ministry that, look, this is something that you need to address immediately.
Well, what do you think are some of the critical or some of the main reasons why you think the sports has gotten that downward trend in Carriacou lately?
Well, unfortunately, GT, I'll start with I'll list a number of things. One, I don't think that the experience in terms of the policy directive and how governments work, I don't think that the lead policymaker in Carriacou has the experience. I don't think that he has the depth to deal with such issues in terms of governance and development of young people. Unfortunately, he just doesn't have it. The second thing, I think that there is a strong sense of disrespect, a lot of hatred, not understanding that when you're governing, you have to govern for everybody and have to respect people's political preference. And so if you have to help a young person, and the first thing you have to do is to see whether or not their family or family members support you or they support you before you can help them, then we are doomed as Carriacouans. And that is what is actually been practiced, and it's quite unfortunate that is happening. And hence the reason why I feel a deep sense of responsibility that I have to speak about this. I cannot be here and be in this position and not speak about it. It is unfortunate. It is uncalled for. It is unwarranted. There is no reason to treat people like that. And I mean, I have specific examples, which I mean, I wouldn't speak now at this point in time, but I have specific examples where factually I know there are deliberate actions to block people from getting opportunities. Why are this happening to our fellow Carriacouans? I think that is the part that really I'm lost for words, and it is quite unfortunate. But I think the key thing is the lack of experience and knowledge and capacity to deal with governance. So when somebody can put up publicly on social media that there is not God and they can't fix everybody's problem, it says something. It sends a strong message. I've been a public servant for 17 years. I've been a member of parliament involved in politics for almost 10 years. And as much as how daunting the task is, there is no way in my right mind that I would at any point in time post publicly that I feel consumed and I can't fix everybody's problem and be not God. From the time somebody start doing that, it's a clear indication that they are saying to you that, look, this thing is much more than I can handle. I do not have what it takes to do it. And so don't disturb me. I need my own time. I need my free time. I mean, that is what I garner from it. So as much as how the task is, you have to understand that when you're serving people, it requires a certain behavior, a certain demeanor, a certain level of competence to serve people and to serve people honestly and fairly. There is no reason for one to behave in those kind of manner, disrespecting people and you know, it's a whole lot of stuff, and that is affecting critical issues, affecting persons who are not even involved in politics. Young people who just want to find their way, just want to find themselves. Some who have their small businesses, they just want a little help to move the business forward. We had structured in place whereby we provide support for small businesses to help them to build, help them to manage. Where are those initiatives? You have the Greater Development Bank. I mean, look at what has happened in recent time. A minister coming in and admitting that he received how much $100,000. I mean, if you take a couple $100,000, if you take that same money that was given to that said minister of government, and you craft that into a serious program so that young persons who have businesses can get, capital financing to help grow the business, to help market the business, and you give them that push to find a way. I think that is more fitting and more rewarding than anything else. And so that is the contrast. That is what I can't understand. How are you working for young people when the avenues in which they are required to get support, you are taking all the support for yourself? Look at it. Everything is glaring. So that is the challenge that I have, and I think that is quite unfortunate. We talk about scholarship. GT, I'm on this program, and let me just say this before we move on to our next point or topic. Last year, it was announced that 3 or 4 persons received scholarship. For the love of God, I don't understand why Carriacouans can't know who are the persons who was awarded a government scholarship. It's taxpayers' money. What is the hush-hush? Why are you hiding who were the persons? What is? I'm really lost for words as to why our fellow Carriacouans who have received a scholarship and deserving, so they may have deserved it. I don't know who are the persons. I don't know what are the criteria or whatever. And so it's just a matter just to congratulate those persons and let the public know who they are. But for some reason, the ministry decided to not make that information public. I don't know why, but it's puzzling. So I'm waiting to see if any scholarships is awarded this year, whether or not new awardees are going to be made public together with the former ones, because scholarship support is yearly. So even if you get your initial announcement for your scholarship, and then your first year done, obviously government will provide more support for your second or third year, for how much years that your program requires. So I don't understand. You look at it, just recently on mainland Grenada, a number of persons were featured publicly with the Minister for Education who received scholarship support. The young boys and girls from this country was there on GBN. So why is it different for Carriacou? Is there something that they're trying to hide?
Well, are you certain that was anyone in Carriacou qualified for any of the scholarships? Are you have any information on that?
I do not. I wouldn't. I know that persons received scholarship. It was announced by, I think, someone on the ministry page. If it's about 3 or 4 persons received scholarship support. But
your main complaint is that no announcement of the particular individuals were made.
Yes, nobody knows who they are. Nobody.
All right.
But we aren't sure if there's Carriacouans. We have to say that we aren't sure if it's Carriacouans that get the support because we don't know their names. Yeah, right. I might be forced to go that far. So I think it's something that we have to fix. I think it's not right.
So are you telling that folks inside the Carriacou are feeling a wee bit left out under the circumstances for some reason or the other?
No, it's just a matter of being transparent. This is what this government has preached that they have done, and that is what they're about. They're about being transparent. And so if you are transparent, be transparent. If you say that 4 persons are awarded scholarships, say who the 4 persons are. We award multi-million-dollar contracts in this country every year. All right. Well, not so much now, but previously. And the process is done openly. There's a bidding and tendering process. When the documents submitted everybody who submit documents are in the same room and all the documents are opened at the same time. That is how it is done. And persons are aware who the bids and the what they bid, all that is revealed at some point in time through the bidding process. So I don't understand why something as simple as a scholarship support, that it is hidden. That is what I don't understand. So.
All right, Senator Cox, we drew for a break. Let's take that break. We come back. We have much more to discuss before we wrap today's program. Please take that break, folks. Stay with us, folks. It's To The Point here on Classic Radio, GBN TV. We'll be right back after the break.
Coming up by bus, jeep and boat, you will enjoy a front row seat to breathtaking Trinidad and Tobago attractions. Antigua's biggest resort definitely delivers the goods. Cricket, crop over, a busy summer of top events in Barbados is on the horizon. From panorama to parade of bands, this steel band is making an impact on all fronts. It's all next on this station.
On Saturday, May 4th, there will be a shift on the island as the biggest grilling fest in Grenada moves to the Big Parish. The Maggie King of the Grill competition is at Progress Park, St. Andrew. Come taste the most sumptuous creations from the grill as top chefs and food enthusiasts showcase their culinary skills. Maggie King of the Grill is a festival like no other, with live soca music, fun attractions, and games for the entire family. Then from 6 p.m., get a chance to win up to $5,000 cash in bingo. Interested vendors and grillers should call 456-3454 to register before March 31st. It's the Maggie King of the Grill competition at Progress Park, St. Andrew. Gates open from 12 noon. Bring your appetite and stay tuned to this station for more details.
I want to control your anger. There's a way to feel better. That's one thing to remember. No matter where you are, you can be a star. Stop and take a deep breath and relax yourself. Take another deep breath and relax it, and relax it. Eliminate violence. Who does man of the party? Tell them it's 4-7 trade. Shout it, let them know it. We represent 4-7 trade. Who's the body's passing? 4-7 trade. Them no crazy like.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to The Point here, Classic Radio, for today, Tuesday, the 9th of April. Welcome back to our listeners and viewers. Welcome back, Senator Cox. Of course, good morning to you once again. Senator Cox, we spoke, of course, in the opening, we spoke a lot about the youth development in Carriacou. You gave your perspective on that. We talk about sport. You also raised your concerns in relation to that also. Let's talk a wee bit about infrastructural works in Carriacou and your take. You also mentioned a wee bit, you have a bit of a background in construction and so forth. You always seem to have a keen concern when it comes to infrastructural work in the Southern Sister Isle of Carriacou. On previous programs, we spoke. You were highlighting very real infrastructural work that you felt was, you had some concerns about. Any good news you want to tell us about when in terms of infrastructural work in the Sister Isle of Carriacou? Tell us what's going on in terms of the infrastructure works in Carriacou. From time to time, I do see lots of presentations from the President Minister inside of Carriacou showing various works being taken place. I'm not sure if you have a different point of view in terms of what's been shown. Some reason I'm not hearing you, Senator Cox. I'm not sure reason or reasons why. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. As regards to infrastructure work, and before I get into that, I want to make it absolutely clear to you. my approach, my feedback and concerns in Carriacou is one, merely to raise awareness, to give recommendations, to give guidance, and for us to improve so that all Carriacouans could benefit. And I just want to make that clear because, sometimes people are straight up the view that you're critiquing and you're just critiquing for critiquing's sake. And that is not the point. I'm a responsible person. I've lived in Carriacou practically all my life. So I understand, and it's here where my kids are, here is where I reside. So I'm raising those concerns in terms of awareness. And in terms of infrastructure work, which I've continued to mention and say it over and over, there is nothing major or significant in terms of infrastructure work that is out of the ordinary. What is taking place is some remedial work, some drains fixing here and there, different places, maybe widening some road, fixing a drain, a couple 100 feet of road. There is only one major road infrastructure work, and that is the Bel Air Road, all right, which started more than a year ago. And we have raised concerns and continue to raise concerns as to the modality in which that project is being implemented in the interest of the integrity of the project, in the interest of efficiency in related to costs, and of course, also in terms of the purpose, being that is a main roadway to the Princess Royal Hospital. And that has been my consistent approach regarding the road. All right, so I say this clearly so that persons don't misinterpret me or misstate how I have been approaching this project. And the first thing have to do with the issue of a road costing over $2 million or more not being issued as a contract. Okay, it has been done as far as we understand, and the government can refute. They can come and say otherwise if I'm incorrect, which I've been saying for more than a year now. That road has been done via day work. There have been several contractors on that road, the people doing different little pieces here and there. And that lends itself to a lot of inefficiencies. And it's just common sense. And I'm certain, and it's quite factual, that the ministry themselves have concerns in terms of the time in which some of the contractors are taking to implement those jobs. And they cannot tell me that they are not concerned in some cases. I know for a fact that they are. I know for a fact that they have reached out even to some of the contractors and indicating to them the displeasure in terms of the speed at which the work is going. So our concerns are genuine and our concerns are relatable. Now, the other challenge is the integrity of the work. When you have different persons working, I can't recall, I don't know, I know for some time in terms of supervision, what level of supervision that is taking place on that roadway. And the reason why I say that, and there is empirical evidence to suggest that the issue of supervision is one that lends itself to be questioned, because that road project was suspended just a while ago through the courts, and we are happy, which did call that to find the matter, some resolve to the matter as quickly as possible. We are happy that work seemed to have restarted, and the reason for that is that persons' property was encroached on in a significant way, which means that they have lost land, and they felt aggrieved and went to court and get an injunction to resolve the matter. Now, what does that mean? It meant that work had to stop, and it means that some form of compensation for those lands will have to be bear by the government, by the state. So which means the cost of the project is going up. I'm hoping that there are no extra charges for damages or for negligence on our part in terms of not doing due diligence before those works were commenced. It is customary that when you're doing work of that nature, that you must hire a surveyor, a licensed surveyor, to come in to do the topo, to do the levels, to do your measurements, to ensure that boundaries are kept. And if there are requirements, because from time to time, GT, I'm telling you, this is a normal practice, that we would reclaim, we would acquire land for development. That is a normal practice in government. But there is a process for doing so. As a matter of fact, there is a budget in the Ministry of Infrastructure every year for acquiring property, where that we might have to go in like a couple of feet or 3-4 feet, where that we might have to pay persons for taking the property for public good. So there is nothing wrong with that. Now, the difference with this project is that that was not done prior. It wasn't done prior, and so the project had to stop. The owner or landowners felt aggrieved, and they did the necessaries through a legal standpoint. What is happening with this road? We don't know. We do not know what is the cost, the overall cost, what this road is going to cost us. But we are very hopeful that we can get this road in the not too distant future open, so that the access to the Princess Royal Hospital could be one that is more tidy, that is more efficient, instead of persons having to go all the way around. And I say it, and I continue to say it. Roads of that nature, we have to work more quickly. And my recommendation was that if a contract were to be given within a specific time frame, and that you can hold persons accountable, then you would see things moving much faster. And so that is the challenge that we have with that road. It is taking too long. It is creating some significant inconvenience. And the challenge is that there is no definitive deadline for completing that road. That is what I know.
All right.
So I raise that for what it works. I give recommendation. I give commendation where commendation is due. I mean, they're doing the free center and we know it, and we commend them for that. So I have been balancing approach in what I'm doing, but I'm also have a responsibility to raise and bring awareness to some of the challenges and some of the missteps and some of the concerns. So that is what I'm doing.
Well, you know, folks within Carriacou sometimes will make the reference of, you know, Senator Cox, you are complaining about stuff that may not even be relevant for some reason or the other. And you saying your complaints that you're making, they poses a lot of relevance, because you are seeing things that are not done properly, that should have been done in a more efficient way that will save time and so forth. That's the reason for your complaints this morning.
Well, it's more, as I said, bringing more awareness to the ministry so that they can not make those mistakes going forward, because they will have future projects, and to approach it better. But GT, there is a wider question to this and a wider concern regarding our procurement laws. And in the Parliament, last sitting of the Senate, my colleague Senator on the other side of the House indicated that as Minister for Legal Affairs, that their government is not engaging in breaking the procurement laws at all. But the question is, a project of that size that has not been tendered, and not only that, there is a common practice right now that we are noticing, GT, and if the government believes that I'm not speaking the truth, or the Ministry of Carriacou believes that I'm not speaking the truth, they can feel free to suggest otherwise or to prove otherwise. That projects are not being advertised. Persons do not have, through the procurement laws, an ample opportunity to bid on projects. That is done. Persons have been called and asked if they want a work, come, show up, and start to work. That is what is happening. Jobs are being handed out willy-nilly. That is what is taking place in Carriacou. I've been watching it for quite some time, and hoping and giving the ministry an opportunity to fix that before I speak. This is the first time that I'm speaking about this, GD, and it has been happening for more than a year. So much to say that you could consider that some of the contractors, they are permanent workers with the government, because before they finish one project, they call them to the next project, and other persons, even some of the own supporters, don't even have a chance to get an opportunity to bid on that project. So there is a clear act of nepotism. I mean, that is something that they condemn strongly, but they are doing it. But then again, when you reflect on the and the words of the Prime Minister at a press conference previously, he said that there would always be conflict of interest. So I guess as much that speaks for itself. So I don't know how we're going to move past this, but it is highly irresponsible to be doing this. I mean, just projects that no bidding, no tendering, and I know that for a fact, GT, because persons who they have called and offered jobs, they reached out to say, look, I got a call for a work. No bidding, no tendering. Persons that just receive their phone call and they start the work. That is what is happening. So the question is this how the procurement law is supposed to function? I don't know. I mean, recently, just in Parliament, we just had a significant debate on the moving of the threshold for tendering, for projects to go to tendering from 50,000 to 100,000. So I see chaos coming. I've been very honest, but that is more debate will come on that. JT, I had a long discussion. I raised my concerns in the Parliament with just moving from 15,000 to 100,000 without having no clear parameters how you arrive. Why should you move? Yes, you had inflation, but how you arrive at $100,000? How you sure it's not 150? Or how you sure it's not 75? And the government have failed to provide some explanation as to how they arrive at that. Not even some summary assessment. Nothing. They just pull a figure out of the head and say, make it $100,000. This is really, really some semblance of craziness.
All right.
So that is
you have just switched the conversation a wee bit as it turns to recently passed bills in Parliament. Let's move to that particular segment here this morning. Let's hear what some of those concerns in terms of those recently passed bills that may have raised your concerns a wee bit in terms of what the government is doing with those particular bills.
Well, it's not just the particular bills, but it's the current actions of government and is signaling something that there is more taking place in the background. And if I could just signal the bills, all the bills are geared towards additional expenses for citizens, basically, except for the gun amnesty. All right, that is not a money bill per se. But you have increase in vehicle registration fee to $50. And they charge $50 even before they had the legal authority to do so. So I say to my goodly colleague, Senator, who is also the Minister for Legal Affairs, that indicated that they're not breaking any procurement, they're not breaking any laws, they're not a government to break laws. But this is a clear example that you impose a fee on the nation without legal authority to do so. So that's just only one simple example. But we will have more debate on that. You will hear more about that when we meet next. So that is one. The second one, there was a motion to adjust how you calculate the stamp duties on lease for lease arrangements. We have done, myself and my other colleagues, we have done some analysis on it. And in every aspect, every scenario, results in an increase in the taxes that you have to pay on leases going forward. Now, we have done it, and we use every scenario, and so that is an additional financial burden on the people, and is an opportunity for government to make more money. We go to the license upgrade. The upgrade of license, we have done that in the past. This country have done that in the past. It is a revenue-generating initiative. It may be passed off as if, yes, there is it solves a very good challenge from the business community and also the farming community in terms of young persons who may desire, so who have businesses and want to drive a pickup vehicle at a T or having a D license. to be able to do that so they can manage the business. All right, so that is a good thing, and we support that. But in the whole context of it, it's a revenue generating initiative. And so it is showing a clear indication that government in some way is quietly, in its undertone, is increasing fees in some way on citizens or taxes on citizens in an effort to raise funds. There is nothing wrong with government wanting to raise funds, but the challenge is that in this period, in this critical period, where you should be implementing measures to relieve the tax burden on persons in this difficult time, and each and every one of us know how hard it is right now in this country financially to make ends meet. But they are doing the contrary. They are actually increasing. And that is the mischief. That is the mischief that is taking place with the actions right now, government. So I can't understand how you're saying that you're looking out for people, you don't break any laws. It just isn't making any sense. So the actions speak differently. And I think that is one of the things that I want to signal out and to single out to ensure that persons have to be aware and have to be more financially literate in terms of managing their money, especially now that we have this bi-monthly payment. And it is public knowledge that salaries and wages for a number of persons are being paid late. And it's a fact. It is a fact that it is happening. Persons are aggrieved, and it poses a greater challenge for persons to manage their finances as they receive it fortnightly. That is the challenge. It's a major challenge for persons to manage. One may feel comfortable that every 2 weeks I receive a sum of money. But the question is, how is that impacting you in terms of your development, your financial development, your financial capacity, your financial independency? Are you being able to save more? Are you able to function to do the things that you want to do for your family? And I don't think that that is actually happening right now. So it's a combination of factors, GT. It's a combination of factors, and the persons on the losing end is the nation. So it's important that I highlight that.
All right.
It's very important.
We due for a break. Let's come back. We come back and, of course, discuss some more, of course, if time permits. For you listeners and viewers, if you do have a question or two you may like to ask, I'm seeing there's some questions coming via the WhatsApp already that I will throw to you when we return from the break. Stay with us, folks. It's To The Point here on Classic Radio GBN TV. We'll be right back. Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. It's To The Point here, Classic Radio, GBN TV. And we do have a caller online. Let's go to this caller. Welcome back, Mr. Cox. We do have a caller online. Let's see what this caller contribution is this morning. Caller, good morning. Welcome. Caller via the WhatsApp. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning to you. Go right ahead, please.
Yeah, my point this morning is that I listened to the NNP politician, and sometimes I listen to them NDC politician too. But NNP politician and NDC politicians, to me, they're behaving like fraternal twins, you know. You know when you have two twin children always arguing over ties or whatever. That's how they're behaving like. For example, now we're talking about things like paying people by the month. Now, in most countries in the world, they tend to pay people fortnightly or every 2 weeks, and it works. So I don't know if they're experimenting it in Grenada and they get it right. It's good because even in Toronto, teachers who work for the school board get paid every 2 weeks, and a lot of government employees, not everyone, but the majority get paid every 2 weeks. Secondly, in terms of the youths in Grenada, the MP, he's from Carriacou. I'm from St. Patrick, so he's my neighbor. You know, I think I have a Carriacou connection too because my grandmother was Alexis, and when we go back, he could take us to Carriacou. So anyway, in terms of young people in Grenada, the biggest problem with young people in Grenada is because Grenada is a small place, Grenadian young people tend to be copying from bigger countries, and that is our biggest problem. In terms of things like, I see they had a big music reggae fest. They say reggae fest at the stadium, at the athletic stadium. And I live abroad, so I understand what's going on. Now, how can we have a reggae fest in Grenada? Do we locally, do Grenadians have reggae concert locally to have a reggae fest? I could see we have calypso shows because we have calypsonian. Now, this is our biggest problem. Music is literature. This is the biggest danger. We importing a lot of music from Jamaica that doesn't suit our culture. And young people are inquisitive to get into all those things. And I think this is where the problem is coming from. And I follow...
Caller, we are a bit strapped for time, so I want you to take another 10 seconds or so and just wrap up, please.
Yeah, in Jamaica, in terms of our culture, the majority of Jamaicans don't accept our soca calypso culture. While we imitating them, and it going to hit us with a negative effect.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution this morning. 435-2041. That's the number if you want to be part of To The Point this morning. I'm not sure of anything that was mentioned by the caller, Senator Cox. It's you want to, of course, make reference to.
Just quickly touch. I just really want to commend the caller for raising two critical issues, and the caller is spot on with some of his points. However, when it comes to the fortnight payment, we are aware that some countries are actually using it. Now, our contention is the government's capacity to do it successfully. And we have spoken about it at length at the Parliament. I've spoken about it here, that in terms of the administrative work, in terms of the due diligences to ensure that people get the monies on time, that is where the challenge is. I mean, I hear the Minister of Finance coming out and blaming the public servants. They are the ones at fault for that. I don't know. But if you are putting a policy in place and before you implement it, you ought to ensure that everything is in place to make sure that it functions properly. And you have to take responsibility. Why are you blaming the public servants? So that is one. The second thing is with the youth, and it comes all back to the program GT. If you do not engage young persons and steer them in a particular direction to understand the culture, to understand what you have and our shared values, you leave them to be consumed by other things. And so it is so important to have those programs to guide and steer young persons, because remember, we are exposed to the entire world, and that is what is happening. So if they are not guided, they will just pick up whatever they feel that is suitable for them.
All right. We do have another caller. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Yes, good morning, Mr. GT. Mr. Cox, good morning. I think Mr. Cox is better off talking about things in Maran than in Carriacou. You don't know nothing about what's going on in Carriacou. So, Cox, talk about what's happening in Maran. That would do you better. You're too damn...
All right, caller. Let's take another caller via WhatsApp. Caller via WhatsApp. Good morning. You're welcome.
That is fine.
Hi. Good morning, GT. Good morning, Mr. Cox.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, Mr. Cox, okay, I've been listening to you, Mr. Cox, and basically some of the things that you're saying, when we look at the video from Carriacou with the projects, the road, and all these things we see going on, it's totally contrary to what you're saying. Okay, we know that $329,000 was spent on a billboard in Pitimatnik, right? While the police station was getting wet through the roof when rain come. Nothing done there. I never hear you mention that. Also, Mr. Cox, Mr. Cox, can you tell me the last day you had a conversation with the minister? And with all the project going on, we see the opening, we see in the videos, everything. Tell us what contribution did you contribute to help going forward with this project, seeing that you is a senator. And also, Mr. Cox, there was a concern about with the fuel truck that was coming up with the passengers and them on board on some of the boats that goes to Carriacou. I want to know what's your take on it and what you will be doing to remedy a situation like that.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Response from us, Mr. Cox?
Sure. I really want to thank the caller for raising those critical issues. And the first thing with the road, caller, let me tell you something. Carriacou is 13 square miles, and I travel from Carriacou, and I'm telling you, there's only one significant road construction project, and that is the Belly Road. You could ask anybody. All the other works is just normal major works. That is normal things that take place in government. 100 feet of road here, drain fix here. That is normal stuff. So that is what it is. The Pitimatnik billboard is not a billboard that is in Pitimatnik. If you notice that GTA has a sign on the tourist at the tourist boat at the tourist port in St. George's, that sign with Grenada. GT, you know that sign, right?
Yes, I do.
Right. It's a similar sign that was done for Pitimatnik. So it is an aluminum sign. It is there. It has lights and everything on it. So that is what is there. So it's not a billboard. As to the cost, I can't tell you about cost. But I could tell you what is there as against what you said. The second thing, you talk about the police station. And I can tell you for a fact, while I was Minister of Infrastructure, we had done renovation and remedial works on the Hillsborough Police Station. I know that for a fact. I've been there, inspected the work, and I could tell the contractor who did the work. So what is taking place now is probably a continuation. As a new wing, the National Party government built a new wing for the police officers for the accommodation and everything. The facts are there. So I don't know what. If there are issues with leaks in a particular area, fine. I'm not disputing that. But to say that nothing wasn't done, that is quite incorrect. And the last thing with the fuel truck coming up on the boat, I mean, it is clear, GT, that is not an appropriate arrangement. I haven't really spoken on it. I understand why it is being done. It's in terms of ensuring that we have fuel on island. But it can be remedied. Because what is the problem? I'm not hearing anybody saying exactly what is the problem. And we're only saying that the truck is on the boat, it is unsafe, but what is the issue? The issue, GT, is storage. I think one of the tanks that Sol has in Teal Bay is no good. So they do not have enough storage for when the boat comes with fuel to store it. Hence the reason why the little bit that they're able to store when the boat comes, it quickly finishes, and they have to be put in the truck on the boat, basically endangering lives. I do at times accompany the truck on the boat. I travel with the boat as well, and it is. I mean, we are. I just say we are blessed. It's not safe. So what needs to happen is that SAL, the government needs to work with SAL to increase the storage capacity in Haverville so that the truck do not have to go on the boat. That is one. Another option is that SAL now, they can immediately now just charter the boat. Charter the boat, put 2-3 trucks on the boat and charter the boat without passengers and move your fuel. But they are trying to save money by having the truck on with a normal trip with passengers on board. So that is what needs to happen. They need to hire the boat, charter the boat, increase the amount of trucks on the boat, charter the boat without any passengers, and bring the fuel up. It's as simple as that. So I do not know. Maybe the issue of cost is maybe they're trying to avoid costs, I believe. So I have today presented GT 2 options for them to resolve this matter. So I think that should suffice. Immediately, they can immediately just not move with the truck when passengers are on board, but they need to have a separate trip with just the truck or trucks alone. All right.
Senator Cox, we drew for time. Anything in closing before we take a wrap this morning?
Well, I just want to say quickly, GTD, just to extend condolences to the family of the driver who tragically lost his life yesterday at the Molyneux project, that accident, tragic accident. Loss of life is always difficult for us to comprehend as human beings. While we know that we are here for a time, it is difficult for us to deal with when it happens. So I want to take the opportunity to extend condolences. And also to the family of the late Esther Patterson from Carriacou, who lost her life tragically. It's a tough one. I mean, it's just still, everybody's still trying to process it. So it's tough. I just want to to put that out there. And to close, to say that, well, we have Maroon coming up at the end of this month, from the 28th to the 26th. Music and Maroon Instrument Festival. We encouraging persons to come and be part of Carriacou's cultural experience and enjoy it to the fullest. GT, the last time we here, I was talking about culture. The last time we here, and I spoke about regatta. I got a licking, but after regatta was completed, everything I said is what transpired. So we have regatta, Pidimatnik Whitsuntide regatta coming up, and we have Carriacou regatta coming up. So I'm seeing it early, GT. I'm seeing it early. There are some lingering challenges with Carriacou regatta. I bring this awareness to the ministry early. The last time I brought it a week before regatta. I'm bringing it in April. Today is the 9th of April. I'm bringing those matters up early to say that there is a clear opportunity for the ministry to resolve those things and for us to have a wonderful Carriacou regatta festival, as Pidimatnik normally does as well. Carriacou can do the same. There's a clear opportunity for them to fix those issues and for us to continue to enjoy and celebrate our cultural festivals. So, as I said, GD, I'm not criticizing, I'm just here to bring awareness.
All right.
Yeah.
Senator Cox, I want to thank you very much for being on the program this morning. I appreciate you taking the time out to, of course, speak with us this morning. Best wishes goes out to you for the rest of the day.
Sure, I'll be back sooner or later, especially for the persons who have the concerns about whether or not I'm from Carriacou or not. I'll be back, and maybe we might do an interview in the field, GD. That might be a good suggestion from on site, so that persons can see for themselves what I'm talking about. So we'll see how that goes.
Most likely, that will be interesting. Thank you once again, Senator Cox, and have yourself a great day, sir. Hey, folks, that's where we take a wrap for this edition of To The Point. Thanks all who contributed towards today's program. Have yourself a good day, folks. That's where we say goodbye. Goodbye.